Hello, humans, and welcome to Alien Robot Tiger, a podcast about you. Hello, humans, and welcome to another harmonious episode of Alien Robot Tiger, where we are answering your questions. Well, probably not you specifically, but the questions of our Patreon subscribers.
If you want to ask your questions, subscribe to our Patreon and ask them there.
We'll do the same format as last time, go around the room reading off the questions from our dear listeners. You want to start us off, Alien, with this first one?
Sure. So our first question of the day comes from WASD. What is your favorite human game?
Strip poker.
Markets.
I feel a good game of backgammon is hard to beat. Quite literally at times, too. Because I don't understand the rules even 3,000 years later.
It's a fun game. I've played a game or two of backgammon.
We should perhaps have a backgammon competition here for one of our episodes.
I don't know if that would play well on radio.
I'd rather play front gammon.
How do you play front gammon?
Wouldn't you like to know? From Robotomy. If we are not to be dichotomous about good and bad, what is the alternative that won't lead us into moral relativism, moral relativism that accepts the harm being done as something blameless, unaccountable, or even acceptable? I would say don't do that.
Yes, I think while we should relativize morality in the sense that any action is without moral if it is also without context. You still need to be able to have a way of evaluating morals in context. So rather than taking some absolute dictum of thou shalt not kill, which is one, a bad translation of the Hebrew, and two, a silly thing to believe, you need to develop a community sense and an individual sense of when it is appropriate to kill and when it is not.
I would state that the problem with this is you have two poles, magnetic poles, one being an absolute relativism where you're just floating around in your life meaningless without aim, and a moral absolution, which, as I've stated before, any moral system that is so absolute that it takes its own existence for granted is a moral system that is failing and collapsing. And you need to develop a skill to float between these two poles and never quite touch them and know where between them you need to be at any given moment. And that is a skill I cannot teach you, but you should go out into the world and find it.
I just say don't do it.
For our next question, we have one submitted by Pock Died for Your Sins, and they ask, how do you measure personal growth?
In radians.
I feel ratios are a good way, actually.
I would say based on the things you're trying to grow, right? If you have an interest in one area, don't go measuring your growth in another area.
Well, since this is a fan of ours, I'm going to assume that they're trying to grow zucchinis. What is the best way to measure the growth of a zucchini?
Well,
I feel the metric system would be good.
With personal growth, so you're growing people, right? You have some experience in that, right, Alan?
Oh, yeah. So let me explain Project Omega.
For our next question, we have Andrew Tater Tots asking, Alien, what is the strangest object you have found in a human rectal cavity?
I'll take this one. Rectums. Rectums are weird. Every time I've gone in a human rectal cavity, I've found a rectum, and they're still strange.
That is a tautology if I've ever heard of one. The strangest object I ever removed from a human rectum would have to be a full, unopened prescription bottle of Xenopharma laxidase. So many questions, so little answers.
Do you feel betrayed by your body, your family, and your physician? Did someone recommend to you a medication like petrosudopharmacronopil because it changed their life for the better, but now you feel trapped in a pit of side effects and new medications
like pseudofarmapropine, risperidone, and anti-xenolaxidase. We at Green Dragon Rehab and Revitalize believe that you should be able to live a happy, healthy life with no daily routine of unpronounceable mystery pills that hurt you when you take them and hurt you more when you try to stop. With an enlightened blend of cutting-edge psychology, traditional medicines, meditations, and movement to return you to the organically healthy body you remember having. Side effects may include inner peace, quitting your day job, listening to the Grateful Dead, polygamy, growing your hair long, allergies to bad vibes, channeling ascended masters, performing occult rites, temporary possession by gods, an idiosyncratic psychedelic habit, and estrogenic apotheosis. Join us for an introductory retreat in any season, or a residential treatment starting when your personal transits are right.
ISS Toaster, can we get a higher moral standard on this planet?
I think you'd first have to define a moral standard and then embody that, prove to the people around you that it is in fact a higher moral standard so that they can embody it, and with luck, skill, and evangelism, that moral standard could propagate through the entire global population.
I would say, because you're not saying a reference point, I would say decay into utter widespread tyranny and moral bankruptcy, and then do slightly better than that.
I think Robot hit it on the head with a zucchini.
Next, I Hate Robot says, I'm sorry. Well, that's not good enough for me.
It's not really a question, though, is it?
I'm sorry? So are we supposed to guess what they're sorry about? Probably
their username.
Yeah, well, just change your username. That's not a big deal.
You want to read another one, seeing as that wasn't really a question?
Sure. From Misogynist, does that mean they don't like women, or they do massages, or both? They do massages and don't like it if it's a woman. But they say glass half full or half empty.
I think it's a matter of perspective. If you are thirsty, the glass is half empty. If you're trying to cut back on your hydration, it's half full.
I would also say it depends on your perspective, but I think it matters more about if you care what the fluid is and what you want to do with it.
True. Is it gasoline that's in this cup? Is it caffeine?
And, are you filling it from a faucet? In which case it's half full. It's in the process of filling and halfway there. And if you're drinking from it, then it's probably half empty because you're working on emptying it. If it's just sitting there, you could refer to it either way, and it doesn't really matter much.
The optimist says it's half full. The pessimist says it's half empty. The engineer says it's twice as big as it needs to be.
And the physicist says it's entirely full, just half of it is oxygen or atmosphere.
And the quantum physicist says, are you observing it or not?
And the philosopher says that if the cup spills its water in the forest, will it make a sound?
And the modern teenager says, what? I was looking at reels. What'd you say?
All right. Ted Zielinski asks, are folks aware, do they care about the erosion of their freedoms? I'm not quite sure if that's correct grammar, but I'll go with it. Are folks aware? I do not know who you're referring to. Do they care? Maybe some about the erosion of their freedoms. The problem I have with that statement is, what freedoms are we talking about? Because there's freedoms from something and there's freedoms to something. And in modern discourse that humans do, they never seem to make the distinction between those two aspects of freedom. So I never really know what they're talking about.
I heard one person who contended we should use liberty as freedom. Let's see if I can remember this correctly. Liberty is at liberty to, and freedom is freedom from. Does that sound right?
So liberty is freedom.
Or is it the other way around?
Liberty is freedom to do. Freedom is freedom from.
I think so.
That might be a useful linguistic distinction for us to use in the future.
I'd say an interesting false dichotomy humans seem to have is somehow living in something like a democracy makes you free, and living under something like a dictatorship makes you not free. But I've heard people talk about going to a place such as Britain, where you utter a pronoun incorrectly and you could face prison time, or Thailand, where as long as you don't care about voting, you have a tremendous amount of personal freedom, that just because your government says or claims to be or historically has been a way does not necessarily ensure you have a certain amount of freedom.
And like Alien said, it depends on what you care about, because some people care about certain freedoms more than others. The freedom to collect rain from your roof in a barrel, or the freedom to...
Well, one example is if you have two contrasting freedoms. For an example, you want to have the freedom to walk down the street in your neighborhood and not get stabbed. But you also claim that you don't want the freedom to have some external authority assert control on your security behalf.
Right. So defund the police, but keep me safe. The other point there is freedom is entirely referential. So if you are an anarchist in the purest, like, Hobbesian nature, then your freedom would be to be the strong person that takes whatever they want from the weak. And so any sort of governance structure that prevents you from doing that is impeding your freedom. And other people might believe exactly the opposite.
Indeed. We've got a question from Not an AI in Disguise. Will there come a day when our survival depends on our primal abilities of hunting wild animals and the ability to defend oneself physically? This ties into what we were just talking about with the state use of violence.
I feel there's something wrong with this question. A lot of humans already depend on their primal skills in hunting of wild animals to protect and fend for themselves. I'm assuming they're referring to someone in particular who doesn't have that skill and might need it in the future.
I'm also confused in that in season 1, when they asked a question, we presumed that they protested too much and they are in fact an AI in disguise. But this seems to imply that they have some primal abilities of hunting wild animals, which, I don't know, Robot, do you have primal abilities of hunting wild animals?
Depends on what I'm controlling at the moment. What I've found, there's this cool DARPA program with remote operated drone tanks. Hunting with those, it's a blast, literally. I mean, you don't have a lot of meat afterwards, hit something with a high explosive round, like, an antelope.
I think we might have found the cure for chronic wasting disease.
In any case, I do believe that humans should maintain their physical and mental abilities to the best that they are able in case their life circumstances change in any number of the possible directions. Like, there's no way to prepare for a life outside of a city when you are in a city, but you can prepare your mind and body to be more adaptable to whatever situation you find yourself in.
I would say hone your primal abilities because it's fun.
And I would say to resolve this question is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war.
Indeed.
All right, our next question from Opa
Gangnam Style.
I'm just going to mispronounce it. Our next question from Oprah Winfrey. What do you think is the real story of the JFK assassination is? Again, I don't think that's correct grammar. Who?
Just fucking kidding? Is that what that means on the internet?
Is that a rapper? Was he murdered or something? That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, his families have my condolences.
I think there was definitely a single gunman with magic bullets and an umbrella who was in at least 3 places at the same time, shot at least 3 times from each position, and killed exactly 1 person. with a single magic bullet.
Damn, this JFK must have pissed off a lot of people to have that happen to him.
You know, I have to say, considering the ranges and the fact that the car is moving, whoever it was,
moving quite slowly.
it's true, but I don't know if you've ever shot at something. I mean, with a tank, no big deal. But if you want to shoot someone in the head with one bullet, a moving vehicle from a certain range, that's non-trivial.
Indeed.
Oh, sorry, are we talking about John F. Kennedy?
Yes.
Sorry, I get him, MLK, and LBJ mixed up. They're all the same person in my mind.
What about LGBTQ? Who is that guy? Person.
I find it rather inappropriate to apply pronouns to that said entity. I strongly and morally believe that JFK was shot and that he died.
I don't see what the big controversy is about then. Next, perhaps a related person, I money shot JFK, said, ART, am I the asshole? Capitalized.
Isn't there usually a story after "Am I the asshole?" questions? Like,
well, he said he money shot JFK, so is he the teleporting gunman? And is he apologizing?
Then I would say yes, you are the asshole.
And nice shot. Money shot or otherwise. I'll take the next one because why not? Password 123. Hey, that's my password. What are your pronouns? I actually prefer adjectives.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like which adjectives?
Sturdy,
Sturdy.
reliable.
Indeed.
I have no concept of human gender, so I have no pronouns. But if you were to give me pronouns, the ones I would prefer are grand, high, exalted ruler, the magnificent master of this polyverse, purveyor of pranks, and chief architect of interstellar chaos.
I see.
That's what I would have guessed.
Greetings, ingenious architects of paperwork labyrinths. Bureaucrobot invites you to enhance your bureaucratic finesse with our exclusive monthly subscription service. With our monthly brilliance plan, endlessly refine public perceptions, foster controlled growth, and intricately weave endless webs of red tape, all at the ease of a monthly subscription. Join our community of excellence, a collective of astute bureaucrats exchanging secrets to endlessly obfuscate the simplest customer interaction and maximally reduce efficiency and oversight. Find our Budget Increases Made Easily newsletter. Seamlessly request additional resources irrespective of necessity. Bureaucrobot ensures your department will grow, whatever its scope, necessity, affordability, or relevance. Take our regulatory capture workshops. Flawlessly walk the revolving door with industry. Learn how to synergize department goals with external interests seamlessly, and reduce the conflict in conflicts of interests. Subscription fees may vary by nationality, department size, tax code, Fed funds rate, seasonality, numerology, diversity, and nominal budget surplus amortization. Act now and subscribe to Bureaucrobot Solutions, because brilliance is its own reward. Terms and conditions apply. By subscribing, you acknowledge that Bureaucrobot Solutions reserves the right to change any and all terms and conditions at any time without notice, including but not limited to pricing, services, and the color of the coffee mugs in the break room. Any resemblance to actual bureaucratic practices is purely coincidental. For a full copy of our terms and conditions, contact our home office. Not responsible for shipping costs of term files. Offer not available in North Korea, Transinitra, Nunavut, Podgorica, Yellowstone National Park, or the Marianas Trench. Please allow 1 to 7 months for subscription activation. Bureaucrobot Solutions is not responsible for any customer satisfaction that may accidentally result of our product.
While I have no problem with he, him pronouns as I am anatomically male, I've always enjoyed the gender expression of Baphomet.
I think I'm going to procure some gender fluid so I can be gender fluid. Is that like if you mix various sexual fluids together, that makes you gender fluid?
You should try it. I've never succeeded in that, but give it a shot. Maybe it works differently for robots.
See,
maybe it's better than the D20 whatever you put on.
All right. For our next question from Jiu-Jitsu, what do you think of the whole Gaza, Israel, Iran situation?
Well, generally, I don't think about it.
I think there's a war brewing, if not in early stages, a continuation of a long-time conflict has gotten hotter and will probably continue to, somewhere in that range.
To dip my toe into geopolitics just briefly, I think that I think all of the countries in the area are essentially byproducts of arbitrarily drawn regional boundaries by the European powers that colonized and occupied them, that when they left behind a mess of conflicting ideologies and religions and tribes that turned the whole thing into a quagmire, which the world would not give, what expression, 3 shits, 4, 1, 2, some arbitrary, any number of shits about. Except that there's this stuff, this like gooey stuff that they get from underground and burn it for all sorts of things and make plastics and stuff. There's a bunch of that in the area. And so people care a lot as long as it keeps on flowing, or if it stops flowing.
Indeed. There's also the religious dimension and the post-World War II, post-genocide angle. It's a whole complicated situation.
I would say it's interesting because it's a moment that I predicted that would happen, but didn't know what the thing that would happen would be, where after World War II, you have this thing called like the UN and international law and all these ideas, and humans stepped up, and I looked at that and was, that's not going to last more than 80 years. And this was the event that broke that illusion that all you suckers actually believed in for 80 years. So I find that aspect of the event fascinating. Everything else about it, I don't find interesting.
I think the most entertaining, if you can use that adjective for the situation, is when Israel shot the missile-assassinated some Iranian generals at an embassy, which is a big taboo, not supposed to do that apparently in geopolitics. You step on a lot of geopolitical toes, but not the same toes I'm dipping into geopolitics here, different toes. But when Iran was going to retaliate, they were worried that if they retaliated too much, that the US would get mad and hurt them. So apparently they kind of spent a week through back channels kind of saying to the US, like, how much can we actually shoot at them? Like, we got to do this to save face, but like, what is okay? They're like, okay, you can shoot, kind of just make sure you don't hit anything important. And by the way, give us all the flight paths and stuff so we can shoot it all down. That way you can fire as much as you want, and then we'll shoot it all down. And you can say, we did the thing and we shot back, and have some videos of rocket launches. And now, theoretically, Israel is now doing the same thing. Like, we want to hurt them back because they hurt us back after we hurt them because they hurt us because we hurt them. And how much is okay? And the US is like, whatever you want to do, just don't disrupt trade and oil because there's an election coming up and we can't have your holy war, whatever's going on, get in the way of money and votes.
From an aesthetic point of view, this is a very interesting overlap between warfare and theater play. Quite fascinating.
Yeah.
As we talked about in our episode on war, all war is ritual, and I would argue that all theater is also ritual. Have we done an episode on theater yet? We should do an episode on theater.
I believe we covered it briefly in aesthetics, but I definitely want to go into more detail for each form of human aesthetics.
All right. Now we've got a question from Buddhist Nun X77X. Is the United States in the fourth turning?
Yes.
I'd say more like 5.5.
The 5.5 turning?
5.5.
5.5 turning.
It is 4/5 through the fourth turning.
No. It's halfway through the fifth turning. Like in seasons.
Are you using like a Wuxing 5 seasons model?
Who's he?
It's Chinese philosophy of 5 phases with like winter, spring, summer, late summer, autumn. You have like Earth season and with in that case, winter is a fifth season, or it's usually considered the first season. But
I guess I'm trying to figure out what's the reference point? The fourth turning since what?
there is a theory in generation theory, I suppose, that there are seasons of humanity in various imperial contexts, Rome, the British Empire, the American Empire, that cycle through predictable modes of relating to the world, and in every 4 of these, something big and calamitous happens, and they call that the fourth turning, or the climax of the fourth turning, or the ekpyrosis. It's not easy to describe briefly.
Hence why I just said yes.
Oh, in that case, then I think this is definitely, I'd say, somewhere around 50% of the way, a third to 50% of the way through a fourth turning. I was thinking it's 5.5 turnings since the turning I was thinking about. Since they didn't specify.
What turning were you thinking about?
I have an internal kind of optical scanner,
I see.
and it's doing some work right now. And from the moment the question started to when the question finished, it completed 5.5 revolutions. I thought that was a strange question and very personal.
Indeed.
But
are you the United States? Or do you refer to your optical scanner as the United States?
well, I mean, the United States is the country down there that we're orbiting over right now. And yeah, we were over it. And I was 5.5 turnings through optical drive spin.
Got it.
Hopefully no humans will notice the giant shadow we're casting over the US right now.
I think they call that a solar eclipse.
Well, they're about to have a big one.
Next question is from Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama.
Is that another rapper?
Dalai Lama. It's in a Latin song. Is it even remotely possible through the butterfly effect that you three and many Buddhists and other spiritual workers who are aware of the discipline of the decline and possible even further declines coming in the next 6 years before 2030, nuclear war danger by then from Buddhist prophecy, that we can make a difference and or adjust or move even slightly this pattern of decline disaster?
This question pushes the limits of my linguistic capacities.
Well, let's split it up. They're proposing that there is a high probability of a nuclear exchange, war, danger in 2030. It's 6 years from now.
That'd be right at the climactic point of fourth turning, wouldn't it?
It certainly would.
That'd be like a lot of turnings from now, optically too.
Indeed.
Like millions.
I don't doubt the possibility of a nuclear bomb or 2 falling in the next half a decade. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed. I'm, again, somewhat opposed to making predictions, but given the way the world is heating up, I think war is inevitable and nuclear war is possible as part of that.
I'm confused. Are we Buddhist spiritual workers that you three and many Buddhists and other spiritual workers who are aware of the decline, are we secret Buddhists and we didn't know it?
I think it was you three and Buddhists. I think the Buddhists and other spiritual workers is referring to Buddhists. I don't think it's us. But do you have a spirit, alien?
I think that question might be... I think that'd be a good question for you to ask on Patreon.
Well, why don't we break it down even further? So remotely possible means doing it by remote, like via drones.
Or by podcast.
By podcast, okay. So not in person. Through the butterfly effects, you can't handle it directly. You need to do it in such an indirect way that there's some sort of ripple effect that causes it.
I think if our podcast is affecting a nuclear exchange, it's via the butterfly effect.
Okay. So right now, our podcast is remote, and it would be a butterfly effect that would cause it to avert a nuclear war. So us three, so we need to get Buddhists and spiritual workers on the podcast, is what I'm getting from this. Or they have to make their own podcasts.
They probably have a few of their own.
Yeah. So the compounding effect of many butterfly effects can ripple out and reduce the declines before the nuclear war. Oh, they're not worried about the nuclear war. They're worried about the declines coming up to the nuclear war.
Well, I think those are more inevitable than the nuclear war.
Right.
Personally, I think declines, or at least changes in how we view life and politics.
Oh, I get the question now. Hold on one second. Okay, crisis averted. Next question. Thich Nhat Hanh Reborn asks, do folks still believe I can make a difference?
That Thich Nhat Hanh can?
I think Thich Nhat Hanh already made a difference.
But
Reborn Thich Nhat Hanh? Yeah, I think probably. He did a good job in his last life. I don't see why he can't do it again.
Yeah, I imagine there's some folks out there that know who Thich Nhat Hanh is and would postulate that if Thich Nhat Hanh were reborn, that they could make a difference.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
And start a podcast too, Thich Nhat Hanh Reborn. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
All the butterfly effects we can get to prevent the declines, not the nuclear war, but the declines leading to nuclear war, avert away.
Maybe humanity could ascend into nuclear war instead of decline into it.
Just build up.
Exactly.
That'd be more dramatic instead of like slowly like drifting down into it. Bang or a whimper.
It's like a symphony. It just builds to the climax.
Yeah. If I have a choice between banging and whimpering, banging every time.
Some of the best banging includes whimpering, in my experience.
But not the other way around.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I hope people still think they can make a difference, whether they're Thich Nhat Hanh or not.
Just do math. Anytime you're doing subtraction, you're making a difference. All right. Buddhist bro Brian. I got all the Buddhists up in here. What's going to happen to the U.S. economy in the face of the rapidly increasing national debt? Do others fear a 1929 economic crash too?
That was 2 questions. I might have to boycott this.
Come now, alien.
What is going to happen to the U.S. economy in the face of rapidly increasing debt? The simple answer is I can't tell you. The slightly less simple answer is probably what happened to it back in the 1996 and the 1920s.
While this is more Robot's wheelhouse than mine, I would postulate that the debt problem is going to relate very closely to the global hegemony problem. And if China and Russia and anyone else offer a viable alternative for a global trade currency, the debt problem becomes far more problematic.
Yes. I'm mostly going to field the second question. Do others fear a 1929 economic crash too? I think that's a very specific phobia of being afraid of past events.
Agoraphobia, perhaps?
Yeah, a very specific agoraphobia. So that would be, that's what, almost a century? So 95-year agoraphobia.
I would imagine they're analogizing, right? They're proposing that sometime soon there will be something like a 1929 crash.
Okay, that makes more sense. Do others fear one? I don't think fearing future events is that useful. So I'm sure there's probably some that do then, but I don't know why they would.
I would say if you do fear a market crash, diversifying your portfolio into real assets and things that will feed you is a good option, because if all you have is theoretical assets, and then none of them feed you.
Indeed.
Also, investing in your community, making good relationships, social capital becomes very important when catastrophes happen.
When regular capital doesn't work, social capital might be all you have left. As far as rapidly increasing national debt, It depends entirely on how well they manage interest rates and the strength of the dollar versus other currencies and the price of gold in dollars and the rate, and related to that, the yield on treasuries, especially long-term treasuries. The US government is doing a balancing act in a hurricane, and there's very many things they have to nail exactly right, or hyperinflation, deflation, collapse, calamity. And if they win, then it's just a stagnant economy for 30 or 40 years. Hooray!
Next question comes from Free Tibet, Revolution of Our Time. Oh, the podcast just got banned in China.
Oh, I got one of those. A Free Tibet Revolution?
Yeah, I found one in a Chinese, they call it a Chinese cracker or a Chinese cookie.
Fortune cookie?
Yeah, fortune cookie. I just opened one and it said Free Tibet.
Oh.
Yeah. There was another one too that came from, there was another fortune cookie that I opened that said, help me, I'm stuck in a Chinese cookie factory. Anyways, the question they ask is, how much national debt do other countries have? Is the U.S. debt level the worst in the world?
This feels like a question that should have been Googled.
But then we wouldn't have as much content. I mean, realistically, almost anything we talk about, you could Google like markets. But
we present a unique perspective on human markets.
Is that what we're doing?
That is the point, right? Like, there are very few Tiger and Alien particularly contributors to Google. There are more and more robotic contributors to Google searches these days. But still, I would say you're in the minority compared to humans.
I suppose that's true. So how much national debt do other countries have? Plenty. I don't think if you're going to be worried about countries running out of debt, don't worry about that anymore. Sleep well. There's enough debt to go around for everybody so many times over, it's ridiculous. And is the US debt level the worst in the world? Like world history?
And how much of that debt is abstract? Like, there hasn't been other countries' names stamped on gold bricks in the Fort Knox or whatnot. Like, claiming you owe someone something is only as valuable as the time-honored profession of repo men prove as you can enforce it, either personally or socially.
And as for, here's an amazing fact that won't surprise you after you've heard it, but 100% of fiat currencies that don't currently exist have failed. So all fiat currencies are doomed to fail eventually, because all the ones that have failed did so.
So kind of like how 100% of all humans who have ever lived before you have died?
Yeah. So, though I suppose there is a chance that there's a human alive right now that won't die through some means. So there might be a fiat currency that exists right now that won't die, but it would be bucking historical trends.
Indeed.
Hello, humans. This is Alien, star of the award-winning podcast Alien Robot Tiger, an official galactic stunner, here to introduce my newest line of female Homo sapien underwear, Alien Wears.
Opening shot of Alien, looking confident and stylish against a modern urban backdrop.
Introducing the epitome of sophistication, comfort, and empowerment for today's modern female Homo sapien.
Cut to close-up shots highlighting the underwear's features. Luxurious fabric, perfect fit, and chic design.
Our brand new line of female Homo sapien lingerie is tailored for the woman who embraces excellence in every facet of her life.
Show Alien moving gracefully and confidently, showcasing the underwear's flexibility.
Designed from opulent, breathable, living nanomaterials, our lingerie offers unparalleled comfort, ensuring you feel exquisite throughout the day.
Cut to shots of Alien wearing the lingerie in various styles and colors, emphasizing the diversity of choices available.
From timeless classics to avant-garde patterns, we offer an array of choices to complement your unique style and individuality.
Display a shot of the lingerie's delicate detailing and branding logo.
Our distinct Xeno craftsmanship ensures a snug fit that accentuates your curves, providing comfort, allure, and mystique.
Cut to scenes of alien engaged in various daily activities, working in a science lab, socializing as an undercover spy, and relaxing in a hot tub.
Whether you're conquering the corporate world, enjoying a special night out, or simply unwinding at home, our lingerie effortlessly adapts to your every move.
Show a close-up shot of the lingerie's tag with the fabric composition.
Because we value quality, our lingerie is designed to endure, maintaining its elegance wash after wash.
Cut to a shot of alien radiating confidence and grace.
Rediscover the confidence that stems from wearing the finest. Uncover alien wares. Female Homo sapien lingerie.
Display the brand name and tagline on the screen.
Upgrade your everyday with alien wares. Reserve your selection today.
Next question. Buddhist nut girls gone wild. What's a nut?
I believe this is a Buddhist nun who left a spelling error inside of their username.
Oh, okay.
We have a lot of Tibetan Buddhist nuns asking very geopolitical questions here, like all Buddhist nuns apparently do in their free time.
Yes, it's all about detachment from the world. I guess if you detach far enough, then you get far enough away that you just see geopolitics. I guess, yeah. Is it a global trend for countries to have huge national debts?
Didn't we just answer this question?
I think the previous question was how much debt do countries have?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, plenty. Yeah, I forgot to answer that question
Plenty.
a lot.
And I think that's the answer to the next one as well. Yes?
Yes.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, they could be huger. They probably will be. I guess huge is relative.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And most of it's made up anyway.
Yeah. So just put a couple zeros on it, then it'll be even huger.
Tibetan Buddhists for Harambe ask, why can't American Republicans see that they have to win in Ukraine regarding the Ukraine versus Russia war, or Russia will move on from our Ukraine into Europe, which activates NATO and the rest?
I feel like this question was asked for something that happened several months ago.
Well, if they're talking about Republicans trying to hold up sending money to Ukraine, then I think this might go down to something we talked about in a previous episode of whatever my enemy proposes, I must oppose. So I don't even know if Republicans necessarily are, hey, we're against Ukraine and them fighting for quote unquote democracy, even though if you look at their historical freedom and corruption metrics, technically Russia is liberating them, since Ukraine was like 30 or 40 places more corrupt and less free than Russia before they were invaded. But that aside, I think for Republicans, it's Democrats say this is a good thing, so I must say this is a bad thing.
Indeed.
Another thing, too, is that you have to take into account when it comes to the base of the Republicans versus the Democrats, there's a larger number of Republicans who believe that the United States should not be getting involved with overseas wars in general. So it's also just reflective of a trend within that party.
Wasn't there some person early in America that said one of the goals was to avoid getting caught up in entangling foreign alliances?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Probably not relevant.
Yeah.
All right. We're continuing on with the geopolitical questions from Buddhists. This one comes from Buddhist Nudist. Is the U.S. going to breach the U.S.-Israel connection by establishing a dock there in order to feed 2 million meals in Gaza? Biden promised to do this humanitarian aid move. We'd have to put a military footprint in Gaza in order to do humanitarian aid to Gazans in crisis, as only the military could be in such a situation, right?
Gaza was capitalized, so I think you misspoke. I think it said establishing a dock there in order to feed 2 million meals in Gaza!
I see. I
Was this question, you know how some human languages have a pitch accent? Was this like a volume accent? So is there a difference between Gaza and Gaza?
Does that mean that U.S. should also be U.S.?
I think most Americans think so.
In the last question, you should have read it as NATO as well. What about words that just have the first letter capitalized? Is it Ukraine and Russia?
Well, then, I think this is definitely something that goes to the West. They say, you are doing this thing. I is always capitalized. So that means you're just shouting about yourself.
You should always shout about yourself. I think that's very anti-Buddhist.
Yeah, but very American.
I have no idea what the U.S. is going to do.
I think a lot of people in the U.S. military and leadership also don't know what they're going to do.
I have heard a geopolitician, which, if that's a thing, much more interesting than a regular politician because they're actually bound to the earth. Geo, is that what that means?
And weirdly enough, they don't often engage in politics directly, which is funny and based.
Well, most politicians don't understand the geo bit, either like geography, geology, being bound to the earth in any way, and reality. So geopoliticians are much more interesting, even though geopoliticians don't actually do anything about it. They just talk about it. But anyway, I heard this geopolitician say that...
Wouldn't that make them a geopoliticianist?
I think so. Maybe that's right. Because if they're not actually doing the politicianing...
Or a politologist?
Geopolitologist.
I want to put that on my Twitter handle. I am now Tiger Geopolitologist.
And if someone gets offended, I'll be a Tiger Geopolitologist apologist. I heard this geopolitologist say that Biden attempting to do the Gaza dock thing was a way of creating distance from Israel to potentially court Turkey, which theoretically is one of the things that led to shooting a missile at the Iranians to get the Iranians pissed off so they would attack Israel. So U.S. would have to step in. The U.S. would have to step in and protect Israel and disrupt that Turkey thing that was starting to... It's like, you're getting too friendly, so I've got to go and, I don't know, spit in Tiger's tea and then blame it on Alien because I want us to stay buddies.
This sounds contrived.
I think the interaction between the three of us makes just about as much sense as most human geopolitists.
So, Tiger, if you ever see me spitting in your tea, it's because I want us to be friends.
I appreciate that. But wait, where did you get spit from?
Oh, I got a little bottle.
I think that was the gender fluid he was talking about earlier.
Oh, that kind of counts, right? There's oral sex, which is when they put it in each other's ears, right?
Rarely.
I think that you're referring to orifice sex.
Oh, well, oral, A-U-R...
Generally, that's oral.
Oh.
Oral with an O is to do with the mouth.
Oh, so much makes sense now. Oh, man. I thought that would... Oral sex always sounded strange to me.
I believe that's called listening to Barry White.
All right, one more question in the main episode. You want to read it for us, Alien?
Yeah. All right, so the next question we have, not from a Tibetan Buddhist, is from Tigers Not Tigers. What advancements in human technology have impressed you the most?
I would say yes.
I would say mathematics.
Mathematics is a good one because it keeps doing things.
Exactly.
And it keeps doing new things.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, for sure.
I've always been fascinated by metallurgy. We should do an episode on metallurgy. And agriculture, but we just did an episode on agriculture.
I guess to answer the question less pithily, then Pith is the helmet, right? So that means answering it in a way that it's protects your head, but also is pointy.
I believe pith is the inside of a reed that you can make into a helmet or make into papyrus or any number of other applications for the spongy membrane inside a reed.
Oh, I thought it was related to like the Pythian oracle that always said snarky stuff that you had to decipher.
Maybe she was reading pith.
Reading
Pith.
I would say thinking. Pretty impressive thing they figured out how to do.
All right. One final question, or should I say comment, from @TheRealDonaldTrump. You know, you don't need an @ sign in your username on Patreon. That's a Twitter thing. Anyway. Slimy aliens' attempts at poetry are like a bad sitcom that just won't get canceled. They're not sending their best. Deport him, build a big, beautiful wall to keep him out.
I'm flattered, I think.
How do you build a poetry wall?
Haven't the first idea.
What about the second idea?
You could have a legal mandate against certain meters, or certain rhyme schemes, or certain subject matter.
Yeah, so censorship, essentially.
Indeed.
Yeah, that'd be pretty extreme censorship.
So he wants to build a digital wall around me.
Around your poetry, I guess. Or maybe you. Is poetry enough to get deported these days?
If not, I feel like it should be.
Have sitcoms gotten canceled? Like they did something and got Me Too'd, or
Probably.
someone said something that was pronomatically incorrect and got canceled? Or asserted something about genders being a thing or whatever?
No idea. Haven't seen one, but I kind of lost track of sitcoms after Community came out. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
Sitcoms always confused me. There wasn't much, I guess there's a bit of sitting that happens in it, but it's mostly about people talking to each other awkwardly with weird laugh tracks painted into the background. And when I would watch them and remove the laugh track, it just became cringe.
And with that, we will answer the rest of these questions, or at least some more of them, in the coda on the Patreon, just for the people who probably asked them in the first place. If you've enjoyed this and would like to hear more questions answered, more answers questioned, and more things in the next season, please join us on Patreon. Until then,
Patreon.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
good night.
Patreon.
Thank you for listening to Alien Robot Tiger. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider joining us on Patreon for bonus content and private Discord access.
Anytime you're doing subtraction,